Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin and for today's video we are going to be doing my May TBR. Please don't lick my deodorant. My hair, I look like Bellatrix. Okay, so for the month of May there is the Asian readathon going on, which super cool. Was not aware of that until I watched Books with Chloe's video. I do want to partake a little. I'm gonna kind of partake on my own terms, I guess. So I do really want to do another readathon, or do the readathon to support like Asian authors and everything. I think that's super cool. However, by doing the owls, I kind of put myself in a reading slump, and I really don't want to do that further by putting another readathon in the mix and like limiting myself that way. And so I've put a bunch of books on here that are by Asian authors that I was already interested in without having known that the Asian readathon was going to be this month. But I also have some other books that I'm interested in, just to kind of give myself the freedom of having them on my TBR, but not limiting myself, if that makes sense. Just because I really don't want to put myself in a reading slump, but I'm going to be making a significant effort to be reading more by Asian authors this month, if that makes sense. Alright, let's get started with the books by non-Asian authors, and then we will move to the rest of the books. Actually, we're not doing this in any particular order because that would mean organizing the books, and that would mean work, and I'm just not in the mood. So, okay, the first book is like the group book for the Asian readathon, and it was one that I was going to pick up anyway this month, and that is Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. This is about a suburb in Shaker Heights, Ohio, and there is a fire, and I know there's a woman named Elena. And other than that, I know nothing. The only reason I know that there's a woman named Elena is because the Hulu series came out in March or April or something like that, and I've seen a bunch of trailers and they keep saying Elena. So other than that, I know absolutely nothing, but I think it's kind of like a little bit of a thriller, maybe. It sounds really interesting, plus it's really short, and I've heard amazing things about it, so I do really want to pick this up this month, and then hopefully watch the adaptation. I think that could be really cool. It looks amazing. Reese Witherspoon is in it. It just sounds dope. So then I have A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallaro. This is a mystery about the following, I guess, the ancestors, descendants, however you want to call it, of Sherlock Holmes and Watson, and it just sounds really good. This is quite a backlisted title, and I've had it on my shelves for like a year or so. Actually, definitely longer than that, a couple of years for sure, and I really want to get to it. I've just kind of been in the thriller mystery mood. I've really been enjoying them, and this one looks really short and easy to get through, so I figured now would be a decent time to pick it up. Take this TBR with a grain of salt. I mean, take all of my TBRs with a grain of salt, but this one especially, because I really don't know what I'm going to be in the mood for. Then I'm kind of in the mood to finish off books that I started a really long time ago, and the first one is Reaper at the Gates by Saba Tahir. This is the third installation in the An Ember in the Ashes quartet, and I love the first book and thoroughly enjoyed the second, and I am 144 pages into this one, and I just need to finish it. We finally have a cover reveal and a title and a release date for the fourth book, and I think it's sometime this year. I can't remember if it's in the winter time or like the summertime. I think it's the winter time, but it's coming a lot sooner than we all anticipated, and so I'm really excited, and I just need to finish this one. I was really enjoying it, so I might need to restart it, but either way, maybe I'll pick this up. Then we have a book by an Asian author, and that is Permanent Record by Mary H.K. Choi. This is following Pablo, an NYU dropout who works at a bodega, and a woman named Leanne, and she is a social media influencer, pop star, I think, and it's just like I don't know much more than that. They meet and a romance forms, and it sounds really good. It's one, again, that I wanted to pick up anyway, but especially since it's the Asian readathon, I'm going to make more of an effort to pick it up this month. But yes, I've heard amazing things about this, and it's about a guy who doesn't know what he wants to do with his life, and could not relate more at this current moment in time. The next book is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. This is a science fiction novel where, oh, there's a receipt in here. This is a science fiction young adult novel about a girl named Spencer who really wants to be a pilot, but because of something her dad did years ago and got marked as a coward, everyone thinks that she will be just like her dad and kind of fail them, and so they're really hesitant to let her be a pilot. There's also an AI who she befriends throughout this, and I've just heard amazing things. Chandler Ainsley recently gave this a 5 out of 5 stars, and she doesn't really read sci-fi, and she was really blown away by it, and I honestly don't think I've heard a single bad thing about this book, so I'm really excited to give it a try. This would be my first Brandon Sanderson, which is really cool, so yes, really excited. Plus, I've just kind of been in the mood for a science fiction recently, which is out of character for me, but I'm excited. Then I have another book by an Asian author that I picked up just in case I wanted to read it. I just kind of grabbed everything that I could, or a decent amount, not everything, a decent amount of the books that I've kind of been interested in at least recently. This one is more so at the bottom of that priority list, but I still might pick it up, and that is Girls of Storm and Shadow by Natasha Nunn. This is the sequel to Girls of Paper and Fire, and I really enjoyed that book last year. I gave it, I think, 4 stars, and so I'm really excited to read the sequel. This came out in November. I got it for Christmas, and I still haven't read it yet, even though I told myself that I would beginning of this year, so it just kind of needs to happen. So I'm putting it on this list to also kind of hold myself accountable to hopefully finally read it this month, or at least in the very, very near future. The next book is a recommendation that I got from Books with Chloe, and it sounds really great, and that is Wicked Fox by Kat Cho. This is a Korean-inspired fantasy about a girl named Myung, I think? A girl named Myung and a boy named Jihoon. This is about a girl named Myung who is a 9-tailed fox, and she eats the souls of men, which is kind of dark, and one night, instead of, you know, doing what she was, like, supposed to do and devouring the soul of this one horrible human being, she saves Jihoon instead, and in the process she loses her fox bead, which is her Gumiho soul, and she kind of has to choose if she will save Jihoon, who I am assuming they form a little bit of a romance, or if she will save her soul, essentially. I think that's what it's about. I haven't read it, but it sounds really good. Books with Chloe absolutely adores this book. Not many other people do, that I've seen anyway, but I'm still really excited for it. It sounds dark and it sounds really good, so hopefully I will enjoy this as well. Then I have another one that I have been meaning to read for ages, and that is Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. The sequel to this comes out in early July, so I really need to get on reading this, but this is essentially Mulan meets Project Runway, and that just sounds amazing. It's about this girl named Maya, and she has to sew like these 3 dresses, and there's magic, and it just sounds super good, so really excited. This is actually a personalized copy, which is super cool, but yes, so really want to read this one, especially before the sequel comes out, because like I said, it was one of my most anticipated releases of last year. I didn't actually say that, but it was one of my most anticipated releases last year, and I've been meaning to read it for a really long time. So the last book that I will mention is not one by an Asian author, but again just kind of goes with the theme of trying to finish books off that I started a long time ago, and that is This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. This is about a city called Verity, and it's split into where one half you have to pay for your security, and the other half you have to fight for it from monsters. And we are following Kate Harker, who is the daughter of this guy who is kind of like the one that everyone like pays to keep them safe, and then we are following August, who is the adopted son of a guy who kind of like leads everyone in the fight to keep themselves safe, and he is actually a monster. And they meet, and this is actually not a romance, but it is really good, and I was thoroughly enjoying it. It's super easy to read, and so I really want to finish this one this month, hopefully. So those are all of the books that I'm hoping to read in the month of May. I guess not all of them, but those are some of the options that I have on my radar. I hope you're all staying sane, staying safe, social distancing. I really hope that you're all doing well, reading mentally and otherwise, especially during this crazy time that we're in. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I really hope that I'll see you in my next one. Yikes. I love you all so much. Bye. That was such an awkward outro. I don't know what happened, but I'm not refilming it. I need to go eat dinner.